Welcome to the REI Foundation Podcast, where we cover all the steps and strategies to make your real estate dreams a reality. Now your hosts, Jason and Peely.
Hi, Bill. Welcome.
Hey, Peely. Thanks for having me. Jason, how are you doing?
Doing great. Thanks for being on with us.
Absolutely. My pleasure.
Well, welcome to our podcast, the REI Foundation. Like we said, we are going to feature some of our mentors and coaches that we're currently working with. Bill is an amazing mentor, wouldn't you say so?
I sure would.
So why don't we just jump in? So Bill, who are you?
That's pretty broad.
Well, who are you in terms of real estate?
Yeah, my name is Bill Allen. I live, we live now just south of Nashville, Tennessee, but I invest in Pensacola, Florida, and we just moved a wholesaling operation into Chattanooga, Tennessee. So we do some wholesaling and flipping in Pensacola, and I've also got some buy and hold rentals, and I do some lending too. And then in Chattanooga, we just started about 2 months ago, and we're pretty much just doing wholesaling there now. So wow. That's pretty much me. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So how did you start?
Let's see. I'm still active duty military. So I've been in the military for 14 years and we moved around a lot. I was a single guy then, moving from city to city every 9 months or 1 year. So I'd buy a house and then fix it up a little bit, live in it for a year or two, and then rent it out when I left. So that's kind of how I got started. I started seeing that my bank account was getting bigger and I was still working with the military. So as I added different rentals, I started seeing this potential in real estate. I'd always invested in the stock market and IRAs, mutual funds, stuff like that. And then I started seeing the opportunity to make a lot more money in real estate, and I kind of jumped on it. I would flip a house to buy another rental, and then I'd run out of money, and then I'd flip another house and buy another rental.
Sounds familiar.
Kept running out of money. And then I said, well, why don't I just make a business of this, and we can just flip a lot more houses, and kind of make it more active instead of just all passive. So pretty much my company runs in a flipping and wholesaling business to suck out money for myself to buy more passive income. So
nice.
Yeah.
Nice. By the way, thank you for your service.
No, yeah, you're welcome. It's my pleasure. I love it. I get to fly airplanes, so it's pretty good.
The man flies airplanes and does real estate. So all of you listening out there, none of you have any excuses to get started.
It's true.
If you can fly an airplane and flip a house, you can too.
What's been the biggest point now with having your time so regimented to be able to find the time to get all of this real estate projects underway?
Yeah, I kind of had to find more time in my day. Like we all have the same 24 hours, but yeah, I just had to. I've always been really efficient with what I've been able to do. So set different tasks each day and be able to get them done. When I was working 12 hours a day with the military, I'd have to get up really early and work for like 2 hours on my business before, go into work for 10 or 12 hours with the Navy, and then come home, play with my kids for a little bit, put them in bed, and get in the office till like 10 or 11 o'clock. So it's about a year of sacrifice to get this business going. And my wife and I sat down and said, hey, I told her this is going to be tough. It's going to be a tough year. You're not going to see me as much, but I think it'll be good for us in the future. So let's give up a little bit now so we can gain in the future. But I think, being a pilot, it's kind of when it rains, sometimes we can get more work done because we're not flying or the weather's bad. So I have some flexibility in my schedule too, which maybe some other people that have 9 to 5 might not have. So if I had an hour, I just want to do as much as I can in that hour to get what I need to do done so that I can move on to the next task. So I don't really think about stuff. I just got to do it. So I think
you're not taking calls live up in the air.
No. I realized that was the case. If I'm working 10 or 12 hours a day, then I need someone else to help me out. Some of the things that are, from 8 to 5 need to be done because I'm typically not doing them. Sometimes I'm on the night schedule. If I fly at night, then I can't even go in till, 10, 11, 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So I can get work done in the morning. Now it makes for a long day because a lot of times I might not get home till midnight or 1 a.m. So, but it gives me some flexibility in my schedule to do that stuff. So
Sure.
So what did you do to scale your business? Because I noticed that, you started in, I think it was 2011, and you were like slowly creeping up there with your flips and your rentals, and all of a sudden, boom, 2016 hit, and you kind of just took off. Like,
Yeah.
how does that happen?
Yeah, I think it was, some of it was, number one, it was the people that I surrounded myself with. So I surrounded myself with people that were doing a ton more than me. And they let me see that all this was possible. And they're just normal people, and they're just like you and me. So, if they can do it, I can do it. So I surrounded myself with those people. I set goals and expectations. I carved out the time to get it done, and just committed to it, and said, hey, we're going to do this. We'll find a way to do it. And if ever all these other guys are doing it, then we can do it too. So I think that's pretty much how it went. I've initially just kept it as kind of a side hustle to start. And then I said, well, we wanted to settle down. We wanted to stop moving around every 6 months, 1 year, 2 years. My wife hates to move, and we've done it like 3 times in the last 3 years. So I kind of just said, well, maybe we should try to make this a full-time gig and not just a side hustle, and then focused on that. And that's what we did.
I think that's one of the key points is a lot of people see this as almost like a fantasy. Like people are doing real estate, this like fantasy of real estate, but it's completely doable with the right mindset and the right purpose and the right drive behind it. And with that, setting up a system, it just allows you to really get to the point where you can do everything you want and have all the time you want. If you want to be with your family, fine, because you have properties that are performing for you that you have a system in place for. If you want to be active and bring on more properties, fine, you can do that because the sky's not the limit. You're not setting your boundaries of your 9 to 5, waiting on a bonus every year, or waiting for the boss to recognize you to give you a promotion. And that's a lot of the benefits real estate really have, is that you have so much opportunity that you really just need to take that first step and get yourself involved, whether it be in yourself wholesale and flipping or bringing on rental properties. But really that first step is just a dynamic step that people have to realize that they're able to take if they want to.
Yeah, I didn't know what this was going to look like when I took the leap and said, let's go all in. And it's kind of changed over time the past 2 years to something a lot bigger than I thought it was going to be. But we became successful pretty quick, and we could continue building on it. It's like a little snowball going down the hill,
Yeah.
Just get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then eventually, you can't stop it. And now it's to the point where we're getting, digging in, getting smarter. I'm actually getting out of the military at the end of this month, and have decided that I'll just fly part-time and we'll do this full-time because I absolutely love staying home with my family and being around and going to appointments with my kids and dropping my son off at school in the morning and stuff like that. So it's stuff that, being in the military, you miss a lot of that, traveling and getting deployed and going overseas and not seeing your kids grow up. So it's really nice to be home and do that. So it's kind of evolved into something different, and that's okay. You can't never really plan for where you're going. You just kind of take the road that you're on, and maybe it turns and you get there eventually. And I like where we're at now. So.
Sure.
Nice. Well, following that thought, following the thought of your family, what is your big why? Why do you do this?
Yeah, that's it. I mean, I want to be financially independent, in the very near future. Definitely in my early 40s, where I have young kids. I got started a little late. I'm 37, and I've got almost a 3-year-old, and I have a 6-month-old. So when they realize, they're 5 or 6 and starting to play sports, I want to be the coach. I want to be there when they're going to remember all of that, because my dad started a business in the basement of our house. And I remember when I was young, he wasn't around very much. He was always working in his business. And then as I got older, he was around a lot more because he became independent and he could make his own hours. He was the boss. And if he wanted to come to our Boy Scout stuff or our soccer games, he was there. But, we struggled for a while in my, middle school age, anywhere from 5 to 10 to 12 years old. So I want to have the struggle now, and I want to create that independence for when my kids are a little bit older. So
and they can remember that's sort of a mirror image.
Sound like a mirror image. Of course, we have a 2.5 and a 6-month-old, and I'm 38.
37.
Yeah.
Yes. But in that fact, very similar. Work hard now so you don't have to later.
Yeah. And, I want them to, and I want to teach them a lot of the things that I learned. And my dad taught me a ton about, saving money, investing money, investing in yourself, education, that kind of stuff. So I want to be able to teach my kids that same thing. They're definitely not going to grow up with any silver spoon in their mouth or anything, and they're going to work. But it'll be really cool to be around for them, and hopefully not have to work 40, 50, 60 hours a week like I have done in the past. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
One more thought.
Yeah.
So following your thought from before about how you scaled your business, who are your mentors?
Yeah. Well, number one, my dad. Like, he is, I look up to him my whole life. He's been successful at everything he's done, and really my whole family. We have a big family. We're from Croatia. So we have 100 people at our family reunion just on my dad's side every year. Wow. And we do it every year. So yeah, it's massive. Right. So, but all of those kids, they grew up with nothing. And all 6 of my dad's brothers and sisters are like incredibly successful now. They worked their way through college. A lot of them were in the military. They've done so well for themselves, and just seeing that and seeing kind of this American dream come to fruition with them. And not all of them had their own business, but they're all, self-made. And it's cool to see. But, and then in going further in real estate, I kind of would read books and self-educate myself. And then when I got this huge expansion and this boom, was definitely this mastermind group that we're in right now. And that's how I met you guys.
Yes.
We're in that group together. So Justin Williams, I listened to his podcast. He's a great mentor of mine, and listening to that and kind of seeing that he's kind of the one that said, you can do this without actually doing it yourself. And I said, there's no way.
There's no way. Yeah. Who's going to pick up the windows? So we're exciting though. Yeah. So.
It's so funny because when I'm listening to that, I'm driving to and from work, and this flip that I'm doing is on the way to work, and I'm stopping there on the way to work, and I'm stopping there on the way home, and I'm GCing the whole thing myself.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, I'm spending all my time on it. And I said, well, I can either do this, like one of these a year, and make $40,000 or $50,000, or like, why can't I do 100 of them? Why can't I do 50 of them? So he was a big mentor of mine, and Andy McFarland, who you guys know. He's the kind of guy who brings you down to earth and says, look, if I can do it, you can do it, and removes kind of this glass ceiling and this kind of, these people are like money hungry people, or they have to be really. And believe me, Andy is a very special guy. But when you're around these people that you hear on the podcast and on the radio and things like that, you think that they're different, and they're not. They're just we're all just normal people. But his influence on me has been incredible, and I try to structure my business and just kind of my mentality and my philosophy around what he brings to his company too. So
sure. I mean, just for context, I think it would be important for the listeners to understand where you're at today based on where you were starting from 1 to 2 houses, what you're able to do, and maybe what your expectations are for your goals this year, whether it be number of wholesales, number of flips, and what the system is allowing you to do, and probably still have more time than you had before.
Yeah, we were, let's see, 2 years ago, I was doing the past few years, I was doing like 1 flip a year, and I'd buy a couple rentals and do I'd buy a rental, and then I'd do a cash out refinance. I kind of wash this cash, maybe buy like 2 rentals a year. And last year, I think we did, I don't have it in front of me, we did about 70 deals last year. I think we flipped like 13 houses and in the 50s of wholesale deals in Pensacola. And then this year, we've probably already done that this year. We'll do, I don't know, we'll probably do somewhere. I have a monetary goal, not necessarily a number of deals. So I'd like to do somewhere between 1.5 and 2 million this year in revenue. And so that equates to about 150 houses or more. So we'll probably flip like 30 houses this year.
Wow.
And the rest will be wholesales. We'll probably wholesale 130, 150 houses, hopefully.
So basically you went from 2 to 150. Are you guys listening to this?
Yeah.
2 to 150.
Yeah.
But it started with the 2.
And it started with your belief.
It started with 2, and it started with the belief, and it started
It's huge.
having the people behind you, like you said, surrounding yourself with people that believed in you and could help you.
Well, that's it. I mean, without the people that work with me, there's no way that I would be able to do this. I mean, it's incredible when you put the right people in the right position in the company that really you're all moving towards this kind of same end goal. And we all have a goal of hitting these numbers together, like I don't hide that. I don't sit in the meetings and say, hey, we're not doing this much volume and try to keep a lid on everything. Like I want everybody in the group is incentivized to try to get towards the same end goal. So they're a huge part of it. And yeah, I couldn't do any of this without them. So, and I try to make sure this kind of company culture is really good.
Yeah.
And they're all happy in their job and what they're doing and the amount of money they're making and what they're doing, for the community too, which is pretty cool. So.
If you would say for someone who's out there doing a couple projects and are looking to grow their project or grow their business, what was the first hire you made, and what was a hire that you think is the most pinnacle one out of the gate to make?
Well, I think it kind of depends on what your model is. But for me, like my company is we're a marketing company, period. Like we market. So we have incoming leads and I need someone to handle those. So for me, the number one person that my first hire, and I would tell anyone, if you're getting inbound calls, like hire someone to answer those calls. Because I was out flying, working 10 or 12 hours a day. So I'm in the airplane, and if people are calling my phone, I was always kind of like, don't have time to get back to all these people. So I wasn't able to scale without having someone to kind of leverage their time to answer the phone. Because that was the first thing. So that, and like a really good bookkeeper was big for me too. My lead manager, she answers the phone. She originally was doing the books. When I was able to take that away from her, she can focus on some other things that really helped.
Nice.
Us, So, if you're a flipper and wholesalers are bringing you deals, it's probably a project manager. I kind of look at my flipping company and my wholesale company a little bit separate. So for me, that was like somebody to manage that stuff, utilities, managing the contractors, subbing out some stuff, things like that. So
you just basically told us the two people we're currently hiring, looking for.
Yep. And, before Peely raids me in, I'll ask you two more questions. The first being, is
this for you or is this for the listeners?
Of course for me.
We're not getting anything from this. No,
but I think it would be wonderful for, you're going from 2 houses to 150 projects now. What does your marketing look like? What have you done for your marketing to expand your marketing to be able to reach that many leads that you can produce that many results? And then part two of that question would be market specific. What kind of target? So you're in Pensacola and now you're in Chattanooga. What has made you focus on those markets? It may just be proximity, but second, based on maybe it could be, job diversity, it could be population growth, it could be a number of factors. What do you look for out there when you are searching markets?
Okay, I'll start with the amount. So Actually, I'll start with the markets and then I'll talk about the amount for each market maybe. Mm-hmm. So Pensacola was easy because that's where I was. I know the area. I know the market. I have a Florida real estate license. I was flipping there. I've lived there 4 different times. So I know that area pretty well. I know the zip codes. I know about what the valuation is. I own rental property there. I know who lives there. I know population. So I have this kind of a little bit of an unfair advantage. And that's what I really look for, is that kind of unfair advantage that you might have into some market, whether it's knowledge of something, job growth, market specific access to the MLS, any of these things that you might have. So that was Pensacola was easy. We have a list of about 50 to 60,000 people that we mail to there. And we do that. Our mail goes out every week. And then we do some online marketing too. And then Chattanooga, I was looking kind of in that area in the Southeast, picked a lot of different cities that I analyzed, but I knew Pensacola for a year, and Chattanooga reminded me, like when I looked at all the data and all the numbers and everything, it looked a lot like Pensacola. So I knew the struggles and I knew the success that we would have. So I kind of knew how, like, it wasn't a whole different strategy going into that city. It was a very similar strategy to what I've already proven, that model. And I knew where we would struggle and where we'd be successful. So I could focus on the areas that we were successful in Pensacola, try it out in Chattanooga and see if it would work there. And it did. And so we were successful pretty quickly there, I think, because we kind of tested in our area of Pensacola a lot of the things that we're using in Chattanooga.
Sure.
And the market size is about the same. The amount of cash buyers is about the same. The kind of, education level, college base, job growth, that kind of stuff. But Also, that kind of corridor from Nashville to Atlanta is really like blowing up too. So you're seeing a lot of increased prices in Chattanooga, and a lot of Nashville investors and Atlanta investors that are looking for areas outside of their bigger cities in the smaller markets where they can get better cash flow. So we're selling to a lot of those people. And as a wholesaler, really, I focus on areas where there's a lot of buyers. There's a lot of transactions going on in these cities because as a flipper, I might be able to go into some of these bigger cities and be successful if I can find the deals. But as a wholesaler, I got to look for deals that aren't going to cost me too much to find and we can still make a pretty good margin on. So that's kind of why we chose Chattanooga. And over there, we probably have 30,000 people that we're marketing to there. So about a universe of like 80,000 people.
Wow. So,
amazing. Yeah. Great.
Wow. You're marketing to about half. Well, you said 40,000 out of 80?
No, that's total. In the two cities, we're about 80. No, it's probably like, 450,000.
Nice.
350 to 450. So,
well, thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. I'm so grateful for your time. I guess one last thing. Do you have any words to live by or anything you want to leave us with?
I don't know. I think if I can give you guys any of the listeners, you can listen to this and say, oh yeah, well, he's got something. He's got like a ton of money, or he's got somebody else backing him or something. Like, I think we all have this kind of unfair advantage with something. Either you have time, you have money, you have skills, you have something that you can do to bring to the table, and you need to partner up with somebody or use some of that. I would recommend you look inside and try to see what it is about you that you can be successful in real estate if that's where you want to be, and then kind of bring that out and implement that in the business. I think one of the main reasons why the really successful people are really successful is they don't think about failing. They just go act and do and execute. And like, if I have an idea, I write it down on a piece of paper. And sometimes I don't even have time to write it down on a piece of paper. I just go do it. And I don't think about it. And I don't think about how much is this going to cost me. It's like, how much is this going to make me if it works?
Nice.
And just kind of take that leap and take that risk. And it's the people that think about it for a week or a month or 6 months and they, oh yeah, I could have gotten to real estate then, and just go out there and do something. And if it works, great. If it doesn't, suck it up.
Amazing advice.
Brush yourself up, get back up and go do it again. So
I think that's perfect. Just go do something.
Yeah, that's right.
Work for somebody else, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Well, before we do jump off, we'd love to know if people want to learn a little bit more about you. What's a great place for them to check out? Maybe some more information, your website,
Yeah, you can go to our website, blackjackre.com. So the company's name's Blackjack Real Estate. So we gamble a little bit, I guess, in real estate. So blackjackre.com. Our Facebook is facebook.com/blackjackestate.
Right.
And that's it. You want to get on our buyers list in Pensacola or Chattanooga, it's Pensacola Cash Deals and ChattanoogaCashDeals.com. So either one of those. And yeah, you can find my email address on the website and Facebook page and stuff like that. So.
Nice. And we'll have all that information in the show notes. Thank you so much, everybody.
Yeah.
This is REI Foundation with Peely and Jason.
And Bill Allen, thank you so much for your time.
Hey, thanks for having me. I had a good time.
Thanks for tuning into the REI Foundation podcast. Check back next time for more awesome tips and strategies to launch your new you in real estate.